Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today I am joined by Paul Tinker. He is the founder of multiple different businesses, all with a property focus. How are you doing today, Paul?
Yeah, good man, you?
Yeah, good. I love that you're just sat in this massive Chesterfield armchair like a king.
Yes. It's actually called the king seat in my house, this.
Yeah, there we go. It was
The
meant to
wife
be.
massages me whilst I'm sat in it.
Yeah, there we go. And your kids do your feet
Yeah.
and feed you grapes.
Yeah.
You're already a success. Listen, Paul, thank you so much for coming on. I'm really keen to get this chat underway. First and foremost, can you just give me an overview of what you do, what you're about? I know you've got a few different focuses.
Yeah, so first and foremost and primarily my main source of income is my construction business. So I run a construction company which I formed just 2.5 years ago. And it was to help property investors, deal sources, landlords, property. I'll put them all under one umbrella and call them property strategists.
Yeah.
Now, we help serve them by adding value to their units that they purchase. Generally, the main rule of thumb for these property developers that are emerging into this space are the buying below market value with a view to adding value to them at the back end once the renovation, refurbishment, extension, whatever that adding value exercise is. Look to then release that equity gain to pull the money back out to invest it into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And we carry out that construction work we're using my construction business. What I quickly identified when I was working for these property strategists was they were clueless when it came to the construction work. Absolutely clueless. And I mean that like 95% of clients that we had were clueless. So it became very frustrating at first in trying to educate these strategists that were emerging into the market in going on this refurbishment journey where they're trying to add value out of property, but no clue how to actually do it. So it was just people were picking up the phone and saying, "Can you give me a price for this?" And they were literally sending Rightmove links, and we was like, "Price for what?" And it became really frustrating. And we wasted a lot of time in my construction company trying to educate these people on how they should approach builders. I then saw a gap in the market for a training academy to be formed to teach property strategists how to approach builders and what they need to put in place in order to protect themselves and their business. And that is where my direction is off at the minute. To bring in these strategists, as I keep calling them, bringing strategists into the fold of how to work with builders properly, how to write a specification, a program, forecasting cash flow, raising contracts, finding the right builder in the first place, and then managing that build all the way through to make sure they get what they want, what they anticipated, what they wanted right at the end.
Awesome. First question off the bat is, these property strategists, are they coming to you literally straight out the training room and they're coming to you, or is it also that you're dealing with people that have been in the game for a good couple of years, but they're still getting things wrong, or they're still not educating themselves enough?
And there's a bit of both. I would say that we get more inquiries from newcomers, and I think that's because they're trying to learn what a build cost looks like. So there's a lot of, we call them chancers and time wasters, tire kickers, so that they'll see a property on Rightmove and they want to know what that middle number is. Because what property strategists are very good at once they've done some sort of training is agreeing that purchase price as low as what they can, and then looking at what the end value is going to be. Those two numbers aren't ever going to change. Once they've agreed that purchase price, that price is locked in. And then once they've established what the end value is, that price is pretty much locked in. So the only number that can now move is the refurbishment cost, the build cost. So with that, such a range of where that could be, it could be 10 grand, it could be 20, 30, 40, 50. Who knows what that could be if it's not based on something. So I think that these newcomers into the market, whilst they're not taught that part of the process or the journey, the property journey, this is why there seem to be more of that ilk of people coming to us.
Yeah,
sense. It's a breath of fresh air when we get an experienced investor coming along and saying, "Look, I've got this budget. Can you do me this refurbishment for this budget? And if we can, great. If we can't, we'll advise." And we take it from there. It's more of a joined up approach. So it is really interesting at the minute, the way things are going. And the training academy that's been formed out the back of this, that's also really interesting, the different type of client that we're getting in there as well. So not only are we getting newcomers, we're getting seasoned tradesmen that have been in the game 30, 40 years. They're coming doing a training and they're blown away by the content of how they should be doing it, how much they've been winging it their whole life. So really good.
Wait,
really good.
Isn't everyone winging it?
I'm sure they are, yeah.
Yeah. It's
just like me on this call.
Hey, just like me asking the questions. But for you, how have you found in terms of running the businesses different from obviously the hard graft of a construction business versus the nice glittery training room with a fancy sparkling water on the table? In terms of running the two different businesses, how have you found that, and what have you learned from the experiences?
To be honest, they run hand in hand, which is it's a strange thing. I'm sure you must have been in a property course training room to have described it as you just have.
One or two.
Let me assure you that our training is nothing like that at all. In fact, I actually make a point of not being like that. So there's no water, there's no air conditioning, there's no clapping, dancing, hugging, 70 prices, none of that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's very straight laced, and
I'm
a really down to earth guy, and it's just this is it. This is how you do it, and that is it. This is the price. There's no discounts. You've got 24 minutes to get to the back of the room and buy your course for £2,997 plus that. And in 25 minutes, it's going to go to £18,000. Yeah. There's none of that.
That in itself, the fact you're not doing that, must be so refreshing for people that come into the room and that find you and that work with you.
When we ask for feedback afterwards, it's the one thing that people most welcome. These NLP tricks that people use to get sales is, to be quite frank, I find it repulsive. I don't agree with it in any way, shape, or form. So I'm certainly not going to operate in that way. I offer a service. If you want that service, buy it. If you don't, then don't. It's dead simple.
Yeah. Although just to blow a myth out the water, it's not true NLP. As an NLP trainer, it's given it a really bad name in terms of what that is.
You sound like my wife. My wife's the same.
But it's so true. It's because I know exactly what you mean. That when people are on stage and they're putting pressure on people and effectively selling this dream and making it sound like there's no work involved, right? They're making it sound like you're going to buy this course and by next weekend you're going to be like having your first property and you'll be the words I hate, financially.
No money down.
Yeah, no money down, financially free. And it has, and it's going to be really interesting to talk to you about this because you're seeing it from a trainer's point of view, when obviously you still need to build a business that makes money, that gets people in the room. So you still have a sales aspect to it, but obviously you're doing it in a different approach, which is great. For you, when you see these amount of property training courses at the moment that are on the market, and it does seem like there's hundreds, right, all across the country in the UK, selling everything from like lease options, sourcing, everything in between. That the positive to that is that it helps your business though, right? Because they go on those courses and then they realize they don't know anything, so then they come to you and they start learning the actual how part, right?
Does it help my business? I don't know. It does, to be honest. No, I wouldn't say it helped it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's because I think if those businesses weren't around, do you think your business would be around?
No, I'd agree with that. No, you're probably true. That's probably true.
Yeah. Not to put you on the spot there, Paul. But
No, you're probably right.
No, because the reason I'm saying this is because it is interesting, this fact that you are doing it differently and you're making it work, which I love. And what I'm really curious to know is, from day one, was that a very conscious thing for you to do it that way?
It was, yeah. Yeah, I did some sales training with a very influential sales trainer, and on that training, the tactics that I was taught, it just didn't sit right with me. I could never bring myself to do that. So it was, how do I bring this product to market without operating in that way? It took some. It wasn't a tough decision because it wasn't something I could physically do. I just wouldn't be comfortable doing it, and not only that, I just wouldn't be comfortable. I would hate to try and stand there and trick someone to buy a product. I just wouldn't. This is what I'm selling.
Yeah.
If you want to buy it, it's there to buy. If you don't, then you don't.
Simple.
That is my pitch at the end of the day. There's the website. If you want it, then go book it. If you don't, then don't.
And for those people that do want it and do book on, how do you manage the relationship from getting to where they are, not knowledgeable as much as they should be, to leaving your training? And I'm guessing that, they've been imparted all this wisdom from you in terms of the actual how to do things. How does that process look?
So I run a Facebook group in the primarily. I post in content in there daily. So I'm constantly giving people some real baseline sort of starter knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's from there. There's a one-day event which is free to come and attend. It's up in Hull. I run them once a month, and people come along and they'll do a one-day training with me, and they'll get a broad brush of the model that I teach. And from that, there's the opportunity to invest in further training. So it's a staged.
Yeah.
It's like on a staircase, if you like. There's a staircase of products.
Yeah, it makes sense.
There's an entry level product. I think the entry level is £200, and it goes up to 2,000 as the highest level, which is a 4-day training with me, and it takes you right through from surveying the property when you first go see it, identifying the defects, right through the whole process of planning it, and getting to the end, handing it over, that last bit of mastic, and paying the final bill. It's that entire journey on how to do that, and which strategy fits which exit, all them types of things. There's some property training blended in, bits of finance blended in, just to make it more property related rather than sort of trade and trying to take the next step. And that's how I do it, really.
That's really good. For you, what is the most common theme that you see that people struggle with most when they come to you?
For training?
Yeah.
Writing a specification, 100%.
Why is it that they struggle with that? Just because it's never been taught, or they just don't know where to start?
I think they don't understand the importance of it. I think that's what it is. It's one thing I'm trying to push at the moment. So people that are saying, "Can you just fit me a kitchen?" or "Can you just swing me a door?" and which kitchen, which door? What door do you want? But when you put that question back to somebody that's not been educated, they look at you like you're mental. Like, well, it's just a door. I just want a door, not knowing that there's 1,000 different doors that they could have. Same with the kitchen. Can you fit me a kitchen? Well, yeah. But which one do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want an £800 Wick special, or do you want a 30 grand from Howden's? Which do you want? Well, I just want the cheapest. And you just think, oh my god.
That's what I struggle with, because I've always been around property. Family have been around property. So for me, it's super common sense to ask those questions in the sense, be more specific about what you want, know your budget, know your time frame, all these other things that are going to crop up. Know that it's going to take probably a little bit longer and be a little bit more expensive than you originally thought. But why is it that others don't already have that knowledge? Why do you think that they haven't even watching something like Under the Hammer? You would get a lot of that information to be able to impart, and then when you're doing your own project, it would be there. But why do you think that's missing? Why do you think they aren't implementing it?
I'll guess that it's the industries that they're coming from. If it's a builder, for instance, that's jumped into the property space, because there are a few, they tend to understand it, and they tend to be able to come back with something. But we get all manner of all walks of life people that are jumping into the property space because
what's the strangest one you've had so far that you've just gone, how have you got into property from that?
Oh no, Strangest.
There's got to be one.
There's none. there's none that actually jump out. To be fair,
Really?
all walks of life.
Like a fire breather that spent 20 years in Thailand now is building 17 apartments in Hull.
Yeah, no, we've not had that one yet. No.
Not yet. If you are a fire breather in Thailand and you want to build, then go to Paul.
Yeah.
He'll help you out.
So, the other frustration with the specification thing is we do it in all walks of life. Everything that we do, we specify it, except property, which I don't understand. You go buy a car. Even if you're only spending $5,000 on a car, you'll ask for aircon, CD player, toolbar, metallic paint, leather seats, all that. You'll go through all that paint for $5,000. Even a gym membership, you'll go in and spend $30,000 on a gym membership, and you'll ask if you're getting PT, you're getting nutrition plan, you're getting classes, spin classes, diet plan. Am I getting an app? Am I getting a Facebook group? All them things for £30. Even when you go to Starbucks and spend £2 on a coffee, you'll go in there and you'll say, I want soya milk.
Starbucks, you are up north.
Yeah. You ask for soya milk or sugar in a paper cup. All them things, that's a specification. Yet we do a property and we're spending 50, 60 grand and we don't bother. It's just mental.
Do you think
we do it in every other walk of life?
But do you think that's because as a property investor, they might not be as emotionally attached to it, or they might not have that involvement to it to that degree? They just see that end result, that they want it to be worth X amount of money and they want that new kitchen. They don't care about anything else.
No, because I do think that they do care. Because they're starting to put their stamp on it.
Yeah.
And particularly the newcomers into the market, they really do get emotional and they do get attached and they do add their own taste to things at the detriment of the project. I like that copper tap. It's an extra £100, but I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, so what?
I like that bright pink wall.
Yeah, mental. And these emotional attachments that people get to their projects it'll be their undoing,
Yeah.
But some people don't listen. We try and get this message over to them. Look, this is a business. You are running a business. This is not. You're not moving into this house. This is not. You're not going to have to see that copper tap every day. Just put what is in that's going to get you the return on what it is that you're trying to achieve.
And does that message go in straight away, or do you have to sort of hammer that in a few times?
That needs hammering in.
Yeah. And
it does. And some people don't listen at all.
I mean, what's the classic saying? It's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They'll always have that copper tap. I quite like copper taps personally, but whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
But other than the training academy, you've also got your fingers in a few other pies in terms of property. We had a brief chat beforehand, and it does really sound like you have such a wide scope on the property industry that obviously that helps you in the training room because you do have a wide scope. But for you as a founder, or you as a businessman, how do you juggle these plates? How do you make sure your time is managed in a way that you can make sure that each business is getting what it deserves from you?
So my time management is done through journaling. Without that, it just wouldn't work. So every morning, I get up at 5 every day and I train every day, 5 till 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the office from about 6:30 a.m. And from 6:30 till 8 till my staff turn up, they will. I sit down and I journal. So I'll plan that day out by the hour. 8 till 9, I'll be doing X. 9 till 10, I'll be doing X. And I will plan my day out in such a strategic way.
Wow.
And I'll do that for each day. If I didn't do that, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't, because I'd be spinning too many plates.
Have you always done it that way?
No, I haven't. I did a property training course myself. 2 years ago now. And that was a skill I learned on that course.
Wow.
But it's absolutely paid me dividends. It's a game changer, journaling. Absolute game changer.
Is it something you encourage your staff to do?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And for you, other than the time management aspect, what else does that give you? What does that structure in the day give you to enable yourself to really focus your energy?
So it gives me a plan of. It gives me so much structure to everything that I do. I know when money's coming in. I know when money's going out. So absolutely everything.
Yeah.
My training, my diet, when I'm spending time with the family. I go into that level of detail.
Wow.
When I'm reading, when I'm spending time on Rightmove searching for property, when I'm outsourcing, when I'm out doing a health and safety visit, when I'm trying to pull money into another business, whilst I'm marketing, whilst I'm coaching or being coached, because I still have coaches.
Yeah.
And all of those things are all structured throughout the day, throughout the week. And without that, if I lost my journal, I'd be suicidal.
Is it a paper journal or is it online?
It is, yeah, old school.
Oh, the risk.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets locked away though.
Yeah, exactly. You got like 7 safes, and it's in that, and only one knows the code, that sort of thing.
It's also really powerful when I reflect as well. I reflect once a month, so I'll get to the end of the month and I'll go through what I've written, what I achieved and what I didn't achieve on that list. Because obviously there are times where stuff falls by the wayside, or something takes longer than it should, and something doesn't get done. And that reflection time that I spend is really powerful in trying to, how can I do this better next time? What did I not get quite right this month? Why did that not happen? And I go through that process on a day-to-day basis.
That's really good. It sounds like obviously personal development is quite a big thing for you.
Yeah.
When did that come about then? Have you always been that manner, or talk to me about when you started to go down that journey, if you don't mind?
No, again, it was the training course that I did 2 years ago. Set me on a path. I just formed my own construction business at that time. Well, I say it was about 6 months old, and I went on to this course, and the course that I went on was very mindset orientated. I'd never heard of mindset. It was, I'd gone on this course and I said, what the fuck's this guy talking about? I'm here to learn about property, not about,
journaling.
All these, it was. I found it a bit odd at first.
Yeah.
But the results I got from it were phenomenal. At the time, my wife was an NLP practitioner as well at the time, and again, she was the same ilk as you. She hates all the, all the bad press that it gets.
Yeah.
In order to sell, so we had a bit of sport about that.
But it's interesting that she was an NLP practitioner, but you didn't know about mindset.
I knew about it, but I dismissed it.
Again, you weren't listening to your wife.
I wasn't. No, I thought she was talking shit. What are you on about?
Yeah. So what happened in that room to make you listen then? What happened so that you left that room and you did start journaling? And that's something you're still doing 2 years later, and you've got huge success in your life from it.
What was the trigger moment, you mean?
Yeah, because something would have had, like, a trainer can stand in front of a room and talk to you about journaling or mindset and all these other aspects, but you actually left that room or that week or however long it was, and you're still doing the practical skills that you learned in that room, which is, I'm super impressed, because most people by the Wednesday after a course, 9 out of 10 people are back to doing, moaning Margaret.
Yeah. I suppose it was the level of result that I got from it. Why would I change that? Why would I go back? I'm an action-taking kind of person. If someone shows me a path and I get a result from it, then I will keep doing it. It's non-negotiable for me. If I'm shown something that gives me a result, then I don't understand why anybody wouldn't do it. This is how you achieve X, and you do it by doing Y.
Yeah.
Then why would I not do Y? And if the trainer can demonstrate to me that it works, it's worked for him, then I know by modelling that, then he's got to follow, hasn't it? Nothing else can be. Nothing else can happen. So the results I had as a result of that course, I got to the end of the course, and I got my money. I actually earned my money back for the training whilst I was on it.
Amazing.
So that was the start of this stuff works. And then the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
I formed my other businesses and went on the path that I planned at that time. And every goal I've ever set, I've hit since then, using the models that I was taught on that training. So,
yeah.
And now I've transposed them into my own training.
Yeah, exactly. Kudos to you, because you implemented, right? You took action and you made it part of your life, which is the only way you're ever going to see results with anything. I'm sure you get people in your training room that leave and they don't impart the knowledge and they kind of don't move forward. And do you ever find that frustration? Yeah.
Very, very, very frustrating. Even more so when you hear some feedback that's negative. Something along the lines, "Oh, he taught me this, but it don't work." And, it hasn't worked because you haven't done it properly, mate. I am as brutal as that.
There
is no other way. Yeah, I haven't tricked you. This is a model. This works.
Yeah.
If you do what I tell you, it will work. You will get a result. That is it. There's no other path. There can't be.
It's unquestionable.
It is unquestionable. It's like crossing a road.
Yeah. If you want to get there, you do it. But why do you think people, and this is probably quite a tricky answer because we don't know the answer, but why do you think people invest decent amount of money into training and don't implement?
They're the procrastinators, aren't they? It's usually something a bit fear-based.
Yeah.
What will people think of me? What will people say about me? What if it fails? All of those types of fear-based, responses from beliefs, the subconscious.
Values.
Yeah. And, what people think of me is, to be quite frank, is none of my business.
So true.
I don't care what anybody thinks of me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
No impact on me at all. Think I'm a dickhead? Think I'm a dickhead. I'm all right with that.
Yeah. It's the best way to live life, because we should only be over focusing on what we're doing, or what our closest friends, in fact, or what our closest family are doing in terms of who you live with. But I think there's a lot of people. I do think that, especially in the online world, that there's so much noise now that it's very easy for people to get caught up in what other people are doing and lose that focus in terms of what they want to do and what they want to achieve. How do you make sure that you stay focused? I know you said about journaling. Is journaling enough for you to make sure that even when you see something online, for example, you stay in your lane and you stay focused? Or are you ever tempted to be like, "Oh, that guy is a twat,"
I think them thoughts are always going to come.
Yeah,
they're always going to come. It's what power you give to that thought is what matters. So if I see, and I do see it all the time, you see guys online spouting shit, and I just think, "You twat," as you said. But I choose to not respond. 2 years ago, I'd have been all over him. "You are talking bollocks." Being the keyboard warrior that I used to be.
Having a Facebook argument that was pointless.
Yeah, it's absolutely pointless. What do you get from that? You don't get anything from it, and you make yourself look an even bigger dick than the guy that wrote it in the first place.
But for some reason, they feel good. I don't know how it works sometimes.
Crazy.
Listen, Paul, what do you want to do with this? Where do you want all your businesses to go? Where do you want the training academy to go? Have you got a strong vision? I'm guessing you do.
Yeah. So my visions, goals, plans, and aspirations, believe it or not, aren't geared toward money.
Best way for it to be.
But mine aren't. I have a very how can I put it? I'm not going to say simple life, because that's it makes me sound like
why overcomplicate life, right?
Yeah. I live in the country and I drive a transit van. It's just what I like doing. I train in the morning, as I just said there, and I run my businesses, and I come home to the family.
Yeah.
We have 2 holidays a year, and that's pretty much us, to be fair. I'm not into boats or building grand casinos.
What's your one
towers.
vice then? I've got to ask. Everyone has a vice. What's your vice?
My vice is the gym, which is real sad. I'm teetotal as well. And I've been for just over 2 years.
Nice.
I don't smoke. I don't take drugs. I don't. The gym is my release. Vice is, I would say, it's going to be caffeine. I don't want to say on on air how much caffeine I consume, but when I raise in the morning, I have 3 coffees before anything else, and it's a bean to cup grind. Then I'll have a pre-workout before I train, which is massive caffeine hit, and then I'll have 3 or 4 cans of Monster throughout the day, the sugar-free ones, and another 2 coffees on top of that. Yeah,
I'm guessing no one should speak to you before your first coffee then.
No, I'm quite good actually.
Yeah.
I roll out of bed.
Let's get the family on and ask them.
No, I'll not do that.
Yeah. It is. But in terms of getting back to like where you want it to go and the business itself, for you, is this going to become more than just you and your team at the moment? Do you want to expand to other areas of the UK, or how are you planning this out?
Yeah, so I do want to expand across the UK. I've got a speaking event in Cardiff at the end of May. I've been invited to come and speak at a property training academy down there to an audience of, I think he said 90, the guy.
Nice.
He's asked me to come down. I did have London on the cards, but I shelved that for now. I just don't think I'm quite ready for that. But my biggest, my long-term aspiration and goal is to go into the motivational speaking world, in the corporate space, speaking to large companies. I'm doing a bit of training with Brad Burton. Do you know Brad Burton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a bit of training with him in a couple of weeks' time. Speaking training.
He's now what was it? Now what is it?
The Now What Club, yeah.
Yeah, Now What Club, yeah.
And then he's got these Now What live event. But I really connect with Brad. We come from very similar sort of backgrounds, street kids. And
yeah, Brad was actually the very first, fun story. Brad was the very first motivational speaker I ever saw. Back in like 5-6 years ago now, at a business event in London. Brought his books and all that kind of stuff, following him for a while. So he's a top bloke. The reason I like Brad is, and the reason I like you as well, Paul, is because you're normal, right? You're just a bloke in the nicest way possible. You're not trying to be something else. You're like so unquestionably like, yeah, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And I find that so refreshing in all industries, not just in property industry, but in all industries. I feel that side of you and that side of marketing, because I guess it is a way of marketing in a way anyway, if you're just being yourself, even if you weren't, is something that is going to be more and more popular, and people are going to be more and more craving, because the more of these like shiny, sexy marketing videos come out, the more you're going to stand out for being like the normal guy who, guess what, is still killing it, still making it success, still training loads of people, still growing, still doing his thing. And that's something that, hats off to you for doing that. I don't know what happened there.
You went, I stayed.
Literally, it kicked me out of my own live stream. What's that about?
I was thinking, do I stay on?
I was just about to shed a tear as well. It's
being genuine and being authentic is so important in this game. Do you know how hard work it would be to have to pretend that you're something?
I know. I sometimes think that when I meet people, and that you meet people, and sometimes their online and offline persona is so different, and I always think it must be so exhausting to like put on this acting act, 20 hours a day or whatever it is. It's just easy being yourself. It's just easier just being you. That's why, like, whenever I rock up with clients, I'm never in a suit, because I'm never like, I'll just rock up in a t-shirt and jeans or a hoodie, and that's what you get, because that's me and that's like what I'm comfortable with. But it just blows my mind about how many people feel, and I think there is this pressure from an online world. They feel this need to portray their life in a certain way, or portray their business in a certain way. When people see through that now, they see the genuine a lot easier than they see everything else.
Yeah, the Lambo leases.
Yeah, exactly. The Lambo leases or the penthouse Airbnbs. It's all relevant. Listen, Paul. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Like I said, you're a breath of fresh air, and I appreciate what you do and what you're doing for the property market as well, because I think it is needed. If anyone wants to like get in touch with you or like contact you or find out more about your training, what's the best way for them to do that?
Phone. Give us a ring.
There you go.
07876 252 410.
There we go. That's a really nice number
easy.
as well.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Rolls off the tongue. But yeah, find me on Facebook. There's not many of me about. I've got quite an unusual name, so you'll find me quite easily. Connect on Facebook. I've got a couple of groups, a couple of pages.
Good man.
Phone, email, whatever.
Excellent. Listen, Paul, thank you so much for coming on Founders 365. Like I said, I really enjoyed this chat. And thanks everyone for listening and watching. This has been Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty, and Paul Tinker.